Hey everyone, Twisted here. Okay, so this is going to be part 3 of our beginner tutorials, and this one is going to be on fonts and texting. Well, mostly texting because I don't really know how I'm going to show you about fonts, to be honest with you. Fonts are pretty much, you can go, we have an array of links that you can go to find particular types of fonts, and find things that catch your eye that go along with your name or a name that you're making the avatar for. Now this one here in particular, I just made this avatar just for the heck of it. Sometimes I just like to sit down and paint, and I mean, practice makes perfect, so you just find a particular model. So we're not going to put in a particular name on it, we're going to go with just a no name. So with that being said, we're going to go to our text tool, which is this T right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, first I'm going to pause this and fix something. Okay, we're going to go to our text tool, which is this T right here, and we're going to go ahead and type in no name. Now we're going to try and find a font. First we're going to put this in a darker color so that way we can see it. Now we're going to try and find a particular font that is going to go with this avatar. And I prefer blockier fonts when I make my stuff, when I do my own name and do names for other people. I prefer them to be blocky fonts, where some people prefer scripted fonts. Okay, so we've got no name on here, and I kind of like that font. I think it goes well with this model. I'm going to close my bounding box so it's as close to the name as I possibly can get it. Now here we're going to go into our free transform. On Windows, that's Control and T. And we're going to have a different bounding box. And we're going to try and keep the proportion correct. If not, it's going to look stretched, and we don't want it to look stretched. So if you hold down Shift on Windows and you pull the corner out a little, it's going to make it bigger. Now you could go up into the text area, and you can just start messing with the pixel sizes on how big you want the font to go up, but I prefer to do it this way. This way it takes less time for me. Now, to talk about text and text placement and where it should go and all of that good jazz, you want to not completely cover up the model. You want to I'm trying to figure out what to say here without sounding completely off the wall, but you want it to go with the avatar that you're making. So saying all of that, you're wanting to really take a look at your image and figure out where the best placement would be, how big it should be. Do you want it to completely go across, and I'm pointing at my screen like you're going to see it. Do you want it to completely go across the avatar? Do you only want it to go halfway across? Now, a lot of the times I will at least cover parts of the model up, and the reason why I do that is because, well, for many different reasons. I just like the way it looks, to be completely honest with you. Now that we have our text where it is, and we like the placement of it, it's not covering up too much of the detail in the background, it's not covering too much of our model up. It actually looks proportionate to our body. The line looks at least symmetrical. We're going to go into, and me personally, I use stiles. I like the use of stiles. I don't like to make my own. Some people enjoy that. I think if you want to make your own stiles, then please go for it, because there are people out like us that will utilize them out there. So it's basically personal preference on what you would like to use. And for something like this, I'll try and find something that is going to match the background, at least somewhat, or go along with it as much as possible. And I like this style. See, something like this, I actually particularly prefer this style. I like the way it looks. I think it complements the model and it complements the background really well. So I will go with something like that. And I know that there are a lot of people, and myself included, that really do enjoy extra text. Now, extra text is going to be basically the same concept. You know, try and find, with extra text, I prefer to go with script font. And I prefer the size to be a little bit smaller than the name. Now, extra text, you want it to complement the name, you want it to complement the model, you want it to complement the background. So, and I'm not talking about words, I'm talking about the placement. So depending on what the extra text is, and you know what, let's go with a larger. So something like this. Now, you can go about this either way. You can either go and put it on the bottom here and have it overlap a little bit, which is, you know, not a bad effect. You can go up on top and put it underneath by moving your layer. And you can put it underneath the name, which also is not a bad effect. You can put it on top of this line right here and still make it symmetrical to the avatar. However, that is not my preferred method. I don't like the way this looks. I think that it's more of an afterthought, and we want it to complement the image well. So, me personally, I am going to keep it underneath the name, and I'm going to put it along this line here, and that way it looks symmetrical to me to the model and to the name, and it does not look like it's going all over the place, and it doesn't look like it's an afterthought. It looks like it should be there. I probably will change the color, and the reason why I do that is because me personally, I like the extra text to be kind of shaded in and not in your face. I think that the name is supposed to be the defining feature, and of course I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to think that way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to soft light the name. I probably will duplicate it a couple of times, or better yet, let's go with a little bit of a darker color and like really mess with this effect. So we're going to go with like a darker gray. And it is still soft lighted out, so we're going to go with color burn. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to duplicate it. There we go. And see, you still have it as a darker color. It's kind of blended in with the image. Those are two deciding factors that I personally like. You can do it however you want, but you can you can manipulate the blending modes just like any other layer with fonts. So you can blend it in with the image. You can go ahead and go into your effects panel and just say, for the sake of it, we decided we wanted to put a drop shadow in. And you can absolutely do that. You can mess with the bevel and emboss. You can go ahead and put a stroke around it. You can go ahead and put an inner shadow in there too. You can put an inner glow. You could put satin over it. You can color overlay. You can put a gradient overlay. I mean, there is so much that you can do to manipulate this text to make it pop a little bit more if that's what you choose to do. Me personally, I'm just going to stick with a shadowed font in there because, like I said, I think my extra text, I personally like when it's blended into the image where it's not overpowering the name. I think extra text is supposed to be, you know, something that at least talks about the avatar or your personality or something of that nature. I think that if you had it too big and it's, you know, overpowering, then people are going to get confused as to what your name is, and you really don't want to go ahead and do that unless you don't really want anyone to know your name. So there we go, folks. This is the tutorial on text, placement of text. My next tutorial, it's going to be on adjustments, and the reason why I think those are necessary is that it's going to teach you about hue and saturation. My previous tutorials, which I think would be a good idea for if you are just starting and you've clicked on this one, was cutting and erasing. My second one was on layers, and this one is on text placement. So go ahead and go back and watch those tutorials and then come back to us, and we'll see you on the next one.